Hello everyone. I've been watching some YouTube videos that show that time after time, men's issues and suffering are completely ignored and even laughed at, and it's quite disheartening. As a response, I made this video to address the common arguments that trivialize and dismiss men's issues. Argument number 1. Men are the primary victims of violence and homicide, but they are also the primary perpetrators of it. To that argument, I say, so what? Would it not be a problem if women were going around killing and beating up each other? I guarantee you that it would be a problem to almost everyone in society. Unless you want to tell all the victims of black-on-black crime the same thing, I don't think that they would take too kindly to your reasoning. Moreover, there are two more things that bother me about this argument. For starters, why bring up the fact that men are the primary perpetrators of violence and homicide? No one is denying this fact. Even so, there's not much that can be done to prevent this. Men will almost invariably attack other men instead of women. It's ingrained in their biology. After all, women are the limiting growth factor of reproduction. Men's problems in society are caused by this very fact. Women matter more to society, so men often get the short end of the stick. They suffer, so women don't have to. Unless you want it so that men attack other men and women less discriminately, there's no point to this argument. None whatsoever. Anyway, the other thing that bothers me about this argument is that the people who bring it up act as if men are just putting themselves in these situations by going around and picking fights with each other. That cannot be further from the truth. No one asks to be beaten to a pulp or murdered. Most men are not asking for it. Before I move on to the next point, I'd like to add that this argument sounds a lot like victim blaming, something that feminists so ardently argue against. But hey, feminists are rarely logically consistent. Argument number 2. Men are not doing enough to address their own issues. They should start their own groups instead of whining to people about their problems. Actually, they are. That's why the men's rights movement was formed. MRAs are working to make life better for men. Unfortunately, despite their efforts, no one cares about men's issues. Not only that, but people have tried to trivialize, demonize, and even shut down any attempts to discuss and bring attention to men's issues. If you want examples, I have a link in the video description to a video called Why the MRM Will Never Work with Feminism, where I show examples of some feminists attempting to shut down or disrupt events that address men's rights. In any case, the problem isn't that men are not doing enough to fix their problems. The problem is that no matter what MRAs do, society refuses to show compassion towards men's plight. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Argument number 3. Why should we focus on men's issues when women have issues too? They even have it worse than men. Okay, first of all, women do not have it worse than men. This gynocentric mindset needs to stop. Women have never had it worse than men, and they will never have it worse than men. Evolution made it so that women do not have it worse than men. Society makes it so that women do not have it worse than men. Even when women are suffering, there are usually support structures for them. This doesn't happen with men. I don't know how anyone could think that women have it worse than men, let alone just as bad as men. They don't. Period. I'm not saying this to participate in the oppression Olympics or to one-up other people's suffering, but these people need a reality check. Not to mention that I'm so tired of women who trivialize men's problems while talking about their own problems as a gender. Which brings me to my next talking point. Most of the problems that feminists, namely female ones, complain about are not actually problems in the slightest. Manspreading is not an issue. Unequal representation is not an issue. The sexualization of women in the media is not an issue. None of these issues that you complain about are issues no matter how much you argue otherwise. Or perhaps it would be more accurate to say that they are issues, but they are completely subjective and personal. Thus, they warrant no attention from society. In other words, they are your problems, not everyone's problems. Even if women did have similarly pressing problems to men's problems, why should women have all of the focus on their issues? Men deserve just as much attention on their issues as women. MRAs aren't even trying to hog the spotlight, but for whatever reason, people, primarily feminists, keep sweeping their attempts to make men's voices heard under the rug, and it annoys me to no end. Just stop it. Well, I think I've covered just about everything there is to talk about. Let me know in the comments what you think. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.